very good afternoon from the Perth Hockey Stadium. It is the penultimate round of the Men's Premier Division League season. We're heading into the finals, and this game could have a bearing on whether Wasps can stay in touch with the top four. There's very little to choose between the second place and seventh place, which is where Wasps are at the moment. But today their opponents are Fremantle Cockburn, so it's match number 85, Wesley South Perth Hockey Club versus Fremantle Cockburn Hockey Club. I'm pleased to say we caught up with a couple of the people involved with the various clubs, assistant coach Lane Goss from Wasps and also from Fremantle Cockburn, Tim Bottler. Let's hear their thoughts on how the season's gone and this match. Well, Lane, Wasps, the defending champions. Has it been an interesting start to the season and difficult to be the defending champion?
Yeah, it definitely was a different and unique situation, especially at the start of the season. But I feel like the boys really prepared well coming into the start of the season when it was really well. We had our own programs, lots of running, along with Terry Walsh, the head coach. He plans it out, so we all knew exactly what we had to be doing, yeah.
I mean, how do you feel being the assistant coach when you've got Terry Walsh as the coach and then you've got Grant Mitten as the team manager at the moment?
Yeah, I'm really lucky. Coming up from the country, joining Wasps, such a family-orientated club with the Walsh boys playing, two Mitten boys playing, and then their dads on the sideline. I'm just adapting and absorbing everything that I can, learning as much as I can. So yeah, really lucky. Really lucky. Obviously,
Murray McIntyre's stolen a lot of headlines this season, what with his 400th goal and his 550th game. I mean, how important is he to the squad?
The way Muzz brings his energy, his work ethic, on and off the field, but a father figure for the younger guys, as me learning how to coach the team, but other guys like Lewis Barrett, Wean Stickling, Maxie Bainham, just the way he takes them under his wing and teaches them and progresses them on and off the field as hockey players and as men growing up.
It seems to me that Wasps have got a good blend of youth and experience. I mean, how long can the experience keep going?
Hopefully for a couple more years. We definitely love having those guys around. The two Walsh brothers, like I mentioned earlier, Mars, Gibbsy's getting on. He wouldn't like me saying that, but he's getting up there. But it's really good having those guys. The knowledge that they and the experience that they have is really valuable to our team.
With a shortened season, can they go back to back?
I don't see why not. We had a bit of a rocky start, built a few wins in the last couple of weeks, and really looking forward to building some momentum. We're really versatile, which is exciting. Build some momentum heading deeper into the finals and hopefully get those teams ahead of us.
Well, thanks very much for your time tonight, and we wish you all the best for the rest of the season.
No worries. Thanks very much.
Tim, obviously Fremantle, new ground. How are you settling into that?
Yeah, it's been good. It's obviously a great venue. Top of the Wazza. Everything's set up there. We're making a little bit more of our home, the nest. So can't complain with what the council and the board's done for us.
Well, we were talking at the beginning of the season, and you boys normally get off to a flyer in the first half of the season. Everyone thought that Fremantle, therefore, would get away to a really good start and be leading the way, but it's been a tougher season.
Yeah, well, COVID kind of took all our early wins, so unfortunately we're going to have to work a little bit harder for it. But hopefully we'll return it at the back end of the year, and we'll collect all our wins there where they're most important.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, always in the past you've been pretty solid defensively, but it's been getting goals has been difficult. Is it still difficult at the moment, or are you finding it a little bit easier this year?
Yeah, I guess we're struggling to score a few goals at the moment. We've got some, I would say some lacking forwards, but no, we're getting there. The comp's obviously pretty tight and pretty good. Most teams are very defensive side, so we're struggling a little bit, but I'm sure that will turn around. I might score one maybe. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that it's a tight season and it's obviously a shorter season. Do you think that's made it a little bit more exciting because it is so tight and there's not many games left?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a great thing for the competition that it is so tight. I think we're showing a lot of our local talent how good it actually is with all obviously the AIS boys, half of them not here. I think it is a great thing for the comp that it is tight and it shows exactly how good our competition is.
Well, we thank you for your time today and wish you all the best for the rest of the season.
No worries. Cheers, Ash.
So that was Lane Goss, the assistant coach of Wasps, and Tim Bottler from Fremantle, who said they're struggling to score So it's going to be interesting whether they can get some goals today. Turning our attention to the team lineups, and first up, the players to look out for Wasps. And the core players, just a reminder, they are the key players around which the squad is constructed. I believe Murray McIntyre is going to be a key player coming off the bench today. He's had limited game time, but he's a big game player, and when Wasps need him, that's when he usually steps up. Brindabez yet to score this season, but you can't go past their two Kookaburras, Matthew Swan and Trent Mitten, who will also have a massive impact on this game. Turning our attention to Fremantle Cockburn and Matthew Butterini. Well, he's playing his last game here at Perth Hockey Stadium before he heads back to the Eastern States. And so we wish him well, and no doubt he will rise to the occasion, the former Kookaburra. Darryl McCormick, well, every game's a big game for him, the number 5 for Fremantle. But also Tim Devan, their new player coach, wearing number 19. You can bet your bottom dollar he'll keep running till the end. And Jack Welsh, well, he's starting his Kookaburra's career, and he'll be looking to get goals from penalty corners, and that's where Wasps need to be very, very careful. Wasps coached by Terry Walsh, and Tim Devan, as I mentioned, the coach of Fremantle Cockburn. Our umpires for this match are Lee Nungawela and Chris Gears, and hopefully they will have a very quiet day at the office, because that's what you want. You don't want to notice the umpires, and it is inclusion weekend, so they're going to have a guard of honour for the players to go through. Just to give you an idea, as we're waiting for the players to make their way out, at the moment coming into this weekend, Old Aquinians were top of the ladder with 40 points. Vic Park, who've drawn earlier today with YMCC, they are now on 30 points. They were on 29 at the start of the day. Wolves then are on 28, UWA on 28, Hale on 26, Melville on 25, and Wasps currently on 24 points. As the players come through, the guard of honour. And it is very, very close, but Wasps, anything but a win today is not going to be enough. And they are really going to need to get that victory. They're going to rue the games they slipped up, maybe where they went down 4-3 against Hale in the final minute. But today they have to get a win to keep their season alive. I'm Ashley Morrison, looking to share all of the action with you this afternoon. And this should be a good game. It usually is a tight old tussle between these two teams. And I can just throw in a little stat for those who support Wasps: when Duncan Pearce scores, and also when Paul Robertson scores for Wasps, they've always won against Fremantle. Smiles all around from both sets of players as we just wait for James Richardson to take his place in goal for Wasps. Shadows beginning to stretch over the Perth Hockey Stadium at this time of day, but it is still a wonderful day here in Western Australia. Been very fortunate, very mild winter. And just to let you know as well, Reds won today against Curtin University 10-0. Blake Govers with another hat-trick as Trent Mitten gets us underway. That's 22 hat-tricks now in the men's game in 85 matches. So it's been raining goals in 2020 in this abbreviated season. Brindabez, who I mentioned, searching for his first goal of the season, manages to play it off the foot of Butterini. Should also mention that Andrew Walker for Fremantle playing his 100th game for the club, so congratulations to him. Big day. Devan. Well, there's sticks flying everywhere. Robertson is finally the player penalised. Butterini collects on halfway from Devan, loses out, and Mitten looks to attack. Lachlan Sampson into the circle. Sampson going through. Good save coming off his line early by Jonathan Ellis. So Robertson comes back to Jamie Walsh. The one Kookaburra that Fremantle had, Johan Durst, the goalkeeper, again, is not back in Western Australia, so that's why Jonathan Ellis has had the goalkeeping duties. 29-year-old, twin of Mark Ellis, who actually holds the record for the most goals against Wasps in this fixture over the last 3 years. He's scored 4, not playing today. That was cut out well by Josh White, former Wasps player. And of course also Josh White's wife is the player coach of the Wasps women's team, so she said there's no chance she's moving to Fremantle. So I guess they got to play for different teams. Probably good for the marriage if you think about it. So Matthew Swan, so important for Wasps. Cale Walsh delayed his pass, but Sampson coming back and taken over the side by Tim Deven. Tim Deven, of course, was Hale player for a long time. His first season with Fremantle Cockburn suits him, as he owns 2 bars now down in that region in Rockingham and Mandurah. Mandurah about an hour south of Perth for those of you watching overseas. And thrown up and out of the sun, unfortunately not able to bring that one down. Very difficult ball to be brought down by Brynda Bez. Brandon Gibbs, who had a bit of a roasting there from Lane Goss in the pre-match interview. Carried forward well that time by Matt Bird. Matt Bird again, who's had a good season really for Fremantle Cockburn. He's second leading goal scorer, 6 goals. And has had a big influence on the way their season has gone. Matthew Tate played it up the side, and here is Welsh. Oh, he's turned Cale Walsh and almost got past Swan. Swan, though, obviously knows him well from training. Jack Welsh, 10 caps, 3 goals for the Kookaburras at the moment. I'm sure he's hoping to grow that in time when international hockey resumes. Pro League, of course, due to get underway again in the next month, but Australia not going to be playing in it for several months. In fact, not till April next year. Through the middle it goes, and Sampson didn't get a touch on that one, which is disappointing for his teammates, because had he done so, he would have had just the one defender to get past. So thrown into the gap. Josh White brings that down. Snapping is Sampson. White, good pass, and look at those players converging on the one Fremantle player, which was Harrison Keema. Riley Folds goes back again to White. Sampson blocks, and Sampson's trying to get there, but it was White using his body to obstruct Sampson. Thrown into the space, coming back is Deven. Mitten was never going to get on the end of that one. Now it comes to McCormick. Daryl McCormick, who's currently playing his 376th game for Fremantle. Down the line it goes again. Trying to cut infield now is Chad Giles. Giles keeps possession for Fremantle. Switching out to the left. A slight mistrap from Tim Deven, and it caught the back of his stick, so free hit to Wasps. Daniel Rainey can't get past Deven, but Deven happy to just put the ball over the side. Swan trying to get in a position to receive that, followed all the way by Giles. It's Cale Walsh now, goes to brother Jamie, just over halfway on the left. Down the line it goes to Murray McIntyre, coming across and over the side from Riley Folds. McIntyre, of course, who is quite a few games ahead. 550 he's played plus for Wasps. A remarkable testament to his fitness and his dedication. Jamie Walsh. Back to Cale. And there's plenty of talk from Fremantle, just organising the defences. Rainey lifting that one and creating the danger. Playing it into James McPherson, who for several years has had the captaincy. This year, though, Declan Spencer has been handed the armband. McPherson again collides with Rainey, and McPherson gets the free hit. Watched all the way by Miles Cale. Ball though breaks for Welsh. And Folds and Swan come together, and Folds just bounces off Swan. Comes to Folds again, manages to feed Welsh. Welsh is going to get in the circle, top of the circle. Good block from Duncan Pearce initially. And a penalty corner awarded to Fremantle. And this is where they can be dangerous. So Jack Welsh has been very dangerous from penalty corners. He's scored 6 so far this season, 3 this season from penalty corners. As McPherson goes to the baseline. Matthew Tate is also up there. Tate has scored 4 from penalty corners, so Tate with the brightly coloured shoes. Welsh with the very dark shoes. Whistle goes, and it goes for Tate, but it was a mistrap, and there's a chance now as Longrigan collects the ball for Wasps. He didn't release it quickly. Now it comes to Joel Mitten. DeBez is ahead of him. Joel Mitten, lovely, played it into the turf to lift it over the stick of Riley Folds. Advances into the circle, plays it across. Good defence though, and Fremantle have managed to take that out. That was good play by Josh White, read it well. Thought Lonergan might have delayed it too long, but in the end it was actually a good play by him. Trent Mitten now decides to emulate his brother. Badarini is into his shin pads, so Trent Mitten with a free hit. Everybody back inside the 23 for Fremantle. So very crowded for Wasps to get through. Jamie Walsh needing a sun visor because the sun is dropping down behind that goal. Comes to Walsh again. And he gives it to brother Cale. And almost to McIntyre. And he knew if he'd have just got a touch, he might well have deflected that into the bottom corner of Jonathan Ellis's goal. I think Ellis, to be honest, would have had it covered because he was in a very good position to cover that post. Welsh almost getting that. Gibbs, though, gets his mistrap, feeds it to Mitten. Mitten, oh, collision there. Biting the dust is... Well, it was Matthew Tate who hit the turf. And it's inside the circle now. Robertson shoots. Ellis is caught between his pads. Comes back to... Well, it was Brynn Bez, but he couldn't get the shot away, and the whistle had already gone anyway. So, good chance initially for Wasps. Good save again by Ellis. Jonathan Ellis well placed. Down it goes again from Matthew Tate. As I said, there's plenty of chatter going on. That's going to be deflected over the side from Mitten. Andrew Walker celebrating his 100th game. Congratulations again to him. Plays it forward and kept in play across the face of goal. It goes. Welsh very nearly there, and Pearce will collect that. That was real determination to keep the ball in play by Matthew Bird. Wasps now into the circle. It goes. The deflection just wide from Mitten. Well, he just got ahead of McCormick and managed to get the deflection, but couldn't get it the right side of the post. We're approaching the final 5 minutes of the first quarter. Boy, it's flown by. Great running once more again from Andrew Walker. Good pass too to pick out Tim Bottler. A free hit taken from the wrong place. Walker just checking with the umpire. Deven moving behind him, shadowed by Pearce. Swan put his stick up and free hit lifted. And Walker's saying that he felt it should be their free hit. Andrew Walker, who former Ireland under-21 player, joined Fremantle in 2014. Good work coming back by Josh White in the sunshine, and will now, well, no, he decides he'll stay in the sun. It's a bit chilly in the shade. Swan will collect for Wasps. Swan trying to go inside Badarini, feeds it forward. will find Rainey. Rainey's pass, it was just short of DeBez, and now what the Magpies, as Fremantle are known, have a chance to counter-attack. Welsh coming forward, gets the better of Deer. Welsh, though, can't get past Brandon Gibbs, and Gibbs, though, eventually penalised, so a free hit to Fremantle Cockburn just outside the circle. Ball, of course, must travel the 5 metres. Devon happy to take it back and then try and sweep it in. Got it into the stick of Swan, and a free hit goes the way of Wasps. Devon wants to stay and debate it. He's saying it caught Swan on the shoulder as he was bending down. Trent Mitten, good play by him to draw another free hit off former teammate Josh White, standing over the ball. And a green card has been issued, so Fremantle down to 10. So the card issued to Matt Bird, who wasn't too happy with it, and Mitten again runs into, this time, Andrew Walker. So just over 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Ball comes back again, this time to Dylan Deer. Deer's going to be subbed off quickly. Interchange of courses. Devon dispossesses Gibbs, and free hit. Well, I would have thought Fremantle would have preferred the advantage. That's a really good pass now to Bottler. Bottler has Welsh inside him. Swan coming back. Bottler has to hold it up on the 23-metre line. Goes to square it for the advancing Butterini, and Mitten lifted it, so it will be Butterini's free hit. Takes it quickly. Not quite from where it was. Cut out by Swan, much to the relief of Wasps fans. Mitten now receives it. Butterini trying to read where he was going to play it. Feeds it out to the outside, and it's not kept in play. So Fremantle get on with it quickly. Bottler again with Butterini inside him. Welsh appearing at the top of the circle. Instead, they keep possession. Walker. Walker happy to go all the way back into the defensive line to Josh White. Riley Folds is in the shade of the main stand, but they still opt for the left-hand side. Devon couldn't get it under control, and now Mitten feeds Cale Walsh. Short pass goes to Rainey, but good defensive play coming from Declan Spencer to win the ball back for Fremantle. Devon goes through the middle. Welsh, though, gets a chance to run at the defence. Holt spins away. Welsh has got a forehand shot if he can get it away. Puts it in the top corner. That is a brilliant finish by Jack Welsh. He ran at the defence and showed how dangerous he can be if he's given space to move. And it is the opening goal for Fremantle in the 14th minute of the first period. Now, no doubt the Wasps fans will be disappointed with that, because now they're going to have to come from behind. Jack Welsh, who was formerly with YMCC, and of course he missed the grand final when they were beaten by Aquinas because he was up in Darwin making his debut for the Kookaburras. And there's a lot of people I know at YMCC who feel that had he played, it would have been a very different final. It was a great final as it was, and you can find that on YouTube as DeBez looks to go in the circle. Ricochets up off the Fremantle stick. No danger given. Chad Giles in the corner. Giles tries to play his way out and has done well and gets the decision. And Cale Walsh, well, you talk about spitting the dummy, spat his gum shield. Wasn't happy with the decision, and the gum shield came out. Walsh now on the ball, coming back through his stick was Chad Giles. I would have thought that that was a stick check if ever there was, but not blown. Lachlan Sampson tries to get the better but doesn't manage it of Andrew Walker. And this game is getting rather physical. 5 seconds left in the first quarter. It was well read that time by Brandon Gibbs. He's cut it out, and that will be the end of the first quarter. And it's one goal separating the two teams after that first 15-minute spell. A brilliant finish by Jack Welsh, giving Fremantle the lead. So at the first break, it's Wasps 0, Fremantle Cockburn 1. Welcome back to the Perth Hockey Stadium. Fremantle in a tight huddle, listening to their player coach, Tim Deven. Tim Deven, 124 caps for the Kookaburras, 6 goals. He's been around the traps. He's 36 years of age now. It seems a long time ago he made his debut at the Sultan Azlan Shah Cup in 2010. So the hooter goes for the huddles to break up, and I'm sure Terry Walsh will be a little bit frustrated that his team conceded so late in that first quarter, and now they've got to come from behind. But it was an outstanding finish from Jack Welsh. The second quarter about to get underway. And we're just waiting for Jonathan Ellis to stroll down into his sun-baked goal. So Wasps get the second quarter underway. Pearce, who has been very quiet in that first quarter. Welsh almost dispossessing Swan. Of course, would know the game. Butterini trying to close down Rainey. Rainey somehow keeps possession. And good work by Bottler, who does dispossess him, and Butterini comes away with it. Rainey pushes it over the side. Butterini, as I mentioned, playing his last game here at the Perth Hockey Stadium. He came across to join the Kookaburras, took part in the London Olympic Games. He was actually the only person from the Shire of Tweed in New South Wales to get a medal at London. So it gave him a rather unique place in history. And he was saying when he had to announce his retirement from the Kookaburras, it was sad he couldn't do it on his own terms, in that injury had forced him to make that decision. And now with a baby, him and his wife Cassandra are going to head back to New South Wales. And we wish them well. They've been a joy to have in Perth. So Swan has picked up a green card, so 2 minutes on the side for him. Butterini collects the ball outside the circle. Pearce shadowing him all the way. Butterini's into the circle. Pearce with his stick low down, but Butterini's got past him. Couldn't get past Gibbs. Gibbs tries to clear it towards Sampson, but didn't manage to find him. Now it's Daryl McCormick, the experienced campaigner for Fremantle. Gives it away, and there's a chance coming forward. Bryn de Beers, it'll ricochet well for Sampson. Sampson trying to get away. He's being followed, and he just checks brilliantly to pull himself away from Matthew Tate, but he's given the ball away this time. There's a chance now as Spencer tried to play it forward. Declan Spencer's going to be 2 balls on the pitch, so we've got to get rid of one of them, and they get rid of both of them. So Matthew Tate now from the side. Tries to slide it down the line. Rainey just getting the touch. Tate again has taken probably about 3 meters extra there. Cale Walsh, over the baseline it goes. Smile on his face with the umpire. Cale Walsh, I'm sure he gets more Christmas cards from umpires than he does from opposition players, the amount he talks to them. So Fremantle trying to stretch their lead. A misdirected pass, unfortunately, from Matt Bird that time. Butterini now trying to make a pest of himself to Cale Walsh. Trent Mitten will bring that one down out of the sunshine. Plays it infield early, but it's well read by Bird. Spencer, though, played it first time and gave it away, unfortunately. Hence the squeal of anguish. Cale Walsh now for Wasps, who would love to get back on level terms before half-time. Earlier in the season, they won 4-1 against Fremantle, so they would hope that they could do the same today. And in the last 7 meetings, Wasps have won 5, Fremantle have won 2. Whether that is any form guide? I'm not too sure. Miles Cowell, and that was straight into the feet. Probably a little bit painful as well for Chad Giles. From Jamie Walsh. Cale Walsh keeps it in play, brings it down. Giles again, pounces quickly, almost leaves it behind. Good work by Rainey though, but his pass is misdirected again. And Harrison Keema plays it down the line, and Giles should get there, but Swan gets it just ahead of him. And Giles is penalised. Swan looks to play on again and certainly gives a merry dance to Kieran Abbott. And Swan is going, well, where do you want me to take it? I think he was trying to play on. So Rainey now. McIntyre's inside the circle, and Abbott again coming in clumsily on Rainey. Abbott may just have to watch his next challenge and make sure it's clean, because 3 in a row, and that's just too much. It was the right idea, but Jack Lonergan just arcing his run a little bit too close to the sideline. Jack Lonergan, who was the 2019 Wasps rising star. So a player that they see has a great future. Welsh now in a race with Cale Walsh and the ball, and Cale Walsh is quite happy to let the ball win. Duncan Pearce. Lonergan goes back to Swan again. And Walsh, 3 players surround him, but he gets the ball to Miles Cale. Welsh, though, almost stole it and has stolen it now. Second attempt. Josh White feeding it through. Harrison Keema. Fremantle keeping the ball well as we go to the final 9 minutes of the first half. Deven now. Across the circle it goes. Welsh has stolen it away inside the circle, but forced outside. Swan gives him a bit of a bump, gets away with it. Rainey takes the ball away. And certainly Fremantle looking the more dangerous around the circle at the moment. That's a great pass and good control by Rainey. Needs to find McIntyre. He does. McIntyre just drew Riley Folds and then turned brilliantly. McIntyre trying to go inside the circle, and it's a free hit outside the circle. Looking to take it quickly is Lonergan. Wants to get it in there. He does indeed, and it's fallen for McIntyre, and he is Johnny on the spot. Murray McIntyre fires it into the roof of the net, and Wasps are level. Well, it looked as if it was going to be nothing. Deflected straight to McIntyre. And in the end, McIntyre has pulled his side level, and they can breathe a little easier. Fremantle will be frustrated, no doubt, by that. We heard pre-match Lane Goss, the assistant coach of Wasps, saying what an influence Murray McIntyre has on the younger players and how he just instills this confidence and calmness around the team. Well, that was a calm finish from him. Mitten just losing out to Tim Deven, determined Deven. There's another good tackle. Deven, though, plays on quickly. Swan didn't get it under control. Jamie Walsh, nice little push down the middle of the wicket by Jamie Walsh, who was a pretty handy cricketer in his day, I believe, when he was at university. Averaged 21 with the ball, but apparently didn't take that many wickets. Harrison Keema. Down the line he goes to his captain, Declan Spencer. Spencer beats Swan and pushes Swan out the way. Jamie Walsh steps forward. Reverse stick, though. It's only gone as far that time as Josh White. And now it's McPherson. Back into the defensive line to Tate. Trying to turn is McCormick. Bounces off Mitten. Then tries to get past Pearce. Mitten being told to calm it down. I must admit, I think it was just Mitten stood his ground. He's a fairly solid man. And Darryl McCormick is a little bit smaller, and he just bounced off Mitten. I don't think Mitten actually did too much there. Obviously the umpire wanting to take care of the little guy, and I'm all in favour of that. Spencer did well around the edge of the circle. Spencer got inside the circle, but it was Pearce who cleaned up. Now it's Sampson, and he's lost control of that, but helping him out is Brandon Gibbs. In fact, it was Bryn DeBez. DeBez now running onto the ball. DeBez has got a good run through the middle from Robertson, but he's held up momentarily by good work from Josh White. So Jamie Walsh now approaching the final 5 minutes of the first half. Gibbs now trying to get inside the circle. That came up off the stick of Tim Bottler, so it will be free hit to Wasps as the danger created by the Fremantle man. Comes back to Gibbs, and Gibbs looks to drill that in off the stick of Josh White. Long corner, Jamie Walsh wanting it quickly. Gibbs did well to keep that in play. Loses out to Bottler now. And McPherson. That looked as if it caught the foot. And in fact, the free hit goes Wasps' way. So Brandon Gibbs over the ball once more. Wasps, of course, the defending champions from 2019. And it was Brandon Gibbs' goal in the final that sealed the match for them in his 150th game for Wasps. And that just caught Riley Folds, I think, in the mouth, so that's why we had a slight hold up. Earlier today, one of the lower grade Wasps players got a nasty blow in the face, and we wish them speedy recovery. Swan just with Bottler ahead of him. Bottler cutting off the pass to Kale Walsh. So Swan advances over halfway. Dylan Deere down the line he goes. Pearce now into the circle it goes. Good defensive work coming from Tim Deven. And they've pushed that forward. There's only Welsh giving it chase. Kale Walsh will... I thought he was going to let it run out of play. Then he thought better of it as Welsh was moving rather quickly. And that's good transfer of play by Wasps as Rainey tries to cut infield and is impeded. Matt Bird, the player, penalised. Dylan Deere now over the ball. Pearce lets that one go and Swan accelerates into the space. Takes a deflection into the circle. It will be collected. Brilliant work by Joel Mitten. Good defence, though, again by Josh White. Is the ball going to be cleared by Fremantle? They're trying hard. Good work again by Tate. Eventually they do, and it comes to Spencer. Stolen back, though, by Gibbs. Good tackle by him. Trying to get in around the back was Lachlan Sampson. Free hit to Wasps just outside the circle. Just under 3 minutes left in the first half. Calling for the ball is Jamie Walsh outside the circle. Well, feeling that should have been a penalty corner. I would have thought it should have been as well, I have to say. And the player running into that space just on the edge of the circle. Walsh to Walsh. In it goes. McCormick, though, cleans up. Stolen back up again by Miles Cale. Cale looking to lay it back. Good defence once more from Fremantle. McPherson helping it forward. Unfortunately, just goes off the stick of Giles and out of play. Trying to switch the play again. Spencer wanted to let that bounce, and unfortunately, the pace on the far side of Matthew Swan was there, but the height wasn't. Oh dear, missed by Jamie Walsh, and there's a chance now for Matt Bird to collect. Bird facing Walsh across the face of goal. And it was from outside the circle, so it'll be a long corner directly in front of goal. James McPherson is over the ball, ready to get on with things quickly for Fremantle Cockburn. South pass, is it? Goes to Riley Folds. Folds trying to get past Robertson. Gets a free hit. Robertson saying it was further away than it was. McPherson again, feeds it to Spencer. Spencer into the circle, but Pearce cut it out, played it straight back to Spencer. Swan, though, steals it back for Wasps. Tries to go through a very tight space between Butterini and Spencer. And I think because of those black shirts, he couldn't see any yellow around him and pushed the ball out of play on the far side. We're into the final minute of the first half. Welsh again, a really good lead by him, collecting the ball. Plays it square, but nobody running in that space for Fremantle. Wasps, though, wanted to get on with it. They want to get another fast attack before the end of the first half, but there's not much time left, and the ball person trying to give K.O. Walsh another ball. Only needs the one. Rainey thought he'd got the ball past White, but White recovered well. Now carried forward by Kieran Abbott. Abbott to Welch, and ball is going to go out of play, and that should be the last play. Well, a long corner's been given, which the Wasps players are absolutely stunned about that, and so am I must admit. Welsh got the last touch, and I don't think it's going to be taken anyway because the clock is about to run down. And smiles all around from both teams. And that will be half-time. So the players making their way off to the side, and there was the lead taken by Fremantle in the first quarter. Brilliant finish by Jack Welsh to make it 1-0. But Murray McIntyre, the veteran with over 400 goals in the Premier Division, he managed to get Wasps back on level terms. So as we go into half-time, it's Wasps 1, Fremantle Cockburn 1. Welcome back to the Perth Hockey Stadium. Half-time nearing an end here in this match between Wasps and Fremantle Cockburn. Tied up at 1 apiece at the moment. Must-win game for Wasps if they're to keep their remote dreams of making the finals and defending their premiership alive, and they've really stuttered in recent weeks. They had a win last week, but 3 losses leading into that, where they lost to Reds 4-1, Hale 4-3, a goal in the last minute, and Vic Park 5-1. Whereas Fremantle have actually been finding their form, where normally they slip off a bit at the end of the season, but they've been win-win, loss-loss, win. And 2 of those games that they lost were against Reds, who unbeaten still in the season, and they went down 2-1 and 2-0. All of the goals coming from penalty corners against Fremantle. So maybe there's something in there for Wasps. If they can get a penalty corner, maybe that is the way past the goalkeeper, Jonathan Ellis. There's a minute now until we restart, and Terry Walsh just talking to his players down to our left-hand side. Is there a way back for Wasps? Last year, I don't think many tipped them to win the premiership, and they managed to hang in. This team's been together for a while, so they've got plenty of fight, they've got plenty of spirit. Some have said they're getting too old together, but that will be the test today. Fremantle, a good mixture of youth and experience, and certainly you feel a player like Matthew Bird is around for a while. They're going to really be a dangerous side, and if they can keep hold of Jack Welsh as well, that would be good for them. And Johan Durst comes back. As we heard before, though, their issue is scoring goals. They just don't seem to get enough goals as a team. Just by comparison, they've scored 38 in their 14 games, as opposed to Wasps, who've scored 50 in their 14 games. Now the second half about to get underway. Who's going to come out on top? There's half an hour left in this match. Finals place probably still in the offing if Wasps can get a victory. Fremantle, they've got no chance of making the finals. They're just playing for pride. In Tim Devon's first year as coach. And it's been a difficult one, I think, for anyone who's been a coach this year, with a shortened season and a restructured season. But as I keep saying, congratulations to the administrators for actually getting a season underway. Fremantle, though, looking for that win to keep that streak going towards the end of the season. Dispossessed by Trent Mitten. Butterini will collect that. Butterini can't get the better of Bryn de Bez. Brilliant pass through the legs to Mitten. Out wide it goes into the circle in front of goal. Brilliant from Riley Folds. That was superb defending under pressure. And Riley Folds, remember, he made his debut. We saw him make it. We were filming that game in 2018. He's only 21 now. Welch has turned brilliantly, Brandon Gibbs. Gibbs chasing back now as Welch just holds the ball up. He's got Bottler on his right-hand side. Left-hand side. Bottler just had to check himself. And now it's Riley Folds on the attack as well. Pushes it towards the baseline. Declan Spencer, though, dispossessed by Jamie Walsh, and Walsh bangs it up the side. Tate just carries it over halfway. Good ball down the line, into the circle it goes. Great defending on the reverse stick from Cale Walsh. Josh White now. He thought about going straight through the middle, and Bryn de Bez is penalised for his challenge that time coming in on Matt Bird. White appeals, and now Swan's got the chance to go forward. Mitten just one-on-one with Tate. Mitten going to try and accelerate. Looks to square the ball for Bryn de Bez. Coming back, though, is Matthew Bird. Bryn de Bez, who hasn't scored yet this season. I think he probably thought it was going to be there, but great defensive acceleration by Matt Bird. Matt Bird, of course, who did play for the Kookaburras. Made his debut in a 3-3 draw against the Netherlands down in Narrogin in the southwest. Long corner now for Fremantle, so they've got a chance to take the lead again. Folds happy to carry the ball forward. Taking it towards the corner, but Sampson just taking it over the baseline. So now Tim Devon out wide. Looks to go square to Butterini. Butterini gets it under control. Second chance. Shot on the turn from Andrew Walker, looking to celebrate his 100th game with a cracker of a goal from the top of the circle. And unfortunately for him, it went wide and it went high. Mitten taking on Foles. Feeds Bryn de Bez, and Butterini, yeah, you feel had to be penalised there. The way he just bumped Bryn de Bez and then runs straight back along the same line. That's experience, but it's not really in the spirit of things. Gibbs, well, that was hopeful, and Bird stole it away, and now it's Bottler. Tim Bottler looking to go infield, took a deflection off the shin pads of Rainey. Be a free hit, Fremantle. Tim Bottler, of course, who played floorball as well for Australia. He holds the unique record of scoring a hat-trick against Russia when Australia won their first game against a Tier 1 side, or a side that was ranked in the top 10, when Australia won 11-9. Bottler with a hat-trick. Across the face of goal, and unfortunately catching the feet. So it will be the first penalty corner going to Fremantle. And this is danger for Wasps. James Richardson is going to have to be on his mettle. Welsh and Tate. I think it's actually the second penalty corner. They did have one in the first quarter. So Jack Welsh at the first battery. Matthew Tate at the second. Giles stopping for Welsh, Deven for Tate. Comes for Welsh, and it's low down to the right-hand side, but it's a good deflection away from his goal by James Richardson, playing on quickly. Again, Swan was there quickly. Rainey trying to get on with it. McIntyre lets it go out over the side until he can get support. In the end, he leaves it for Bryn de Bez, but de Bez has gone off. And so McIntyre's run comes to naught, and now Rainey leaves it for Jamie Walsh. Rainey, good turn, but look at the amount of players around Daniel Rainey. I'm not sure whether Fremantle are just trying to close down Daniel Rainey or whether he's just playing into the wall of black shirts, but he's certainly getting surrounded every time he's on the ball. So 5 minutes gone in the second half. We're still tied up at 1 apiece. Not much to choose in the first 5 minutes between the two. It's been fairly even as it comes to Cale Walsh now. Short pass finds Mitten. Mitten looks to go infield. Deven, strong challenge, and Murray McIntyre felt that that was a foul and should have been something for Wasps. That's played cleverly into the feet of Kieran Abbott when there was absolutely nothing on. Swan now. Plenty of space out wide for Lonergan. Lonergan deflects it in, and it's towards goal. McIntyre, I think he thought he'd got a second, but didn't really get any power, and Jonathan Ellis manages to pad the ball away. May well have been McIntyre was trying to deceive the keeper by actually taking the pace off the ball. I might be doing him an injustice. Oh dear, Abbott, but it was the back of the stick. Dylan Deere now to Jamie Walsh. Abbott comes across again to close down Walsh. Cale Walsh now. Free hit goes the way of Cale Walsh. Jim McPherson, the player, penalised. Seems a little bit surprised that he was penalised. McIntyre, was a good dummy by him, but Fremantle have the defence, but that's caught the feet of Tate, and ball taken away from Mitten. Tate maybe a little bit lucky not to get a card, but some might say it would have been harsh. Dylan Deere to Jamie Walsh. Will he just now play it into the circle? No, he goes wide, and unfortunately it goes off the stick of Lonergan down by the corner. And so that possession comes to an end. Great tackle by Miles Cale. Josh White and Devon trying to 1-2 it out of defence. Tate now. Over the top it goes, brought down by Spencer, one back by Jamie Walsh. Cale Walsh helping his brother out. Great pass forward to Mitten. Mitten again, 2 players ahead of him. Persistent is Folds. Mitten, those turned him now and advances into the circle. Mitten towards goal, lays it back. Brilliant defensive play by Matt Bird once more. So Bird again having such an influence going forward and defensively for Fremantle Cockburn. Brandon Gibbs. Good block by edge of the circle. It was Josh White, but given away. Jamie Walsh now to Gibbs. Gibbs has a little bit of space. Pushes it down the line to Swan. Deflected into the circle. Great defence coming across, though, again by Tate. Got there ahead of McIntyre. Given away. Gibbs, though, couldn't get his foot out the way. And they play on quickly. And it's just gone over the side off the stick of Gibbs. And there's so much shouting going on, it's hard to know who's telling who to do what. Duncan Pearce now. Looking for the runner, Brynda Bez. White got there and Butterini will collect in front of him. Butterini advances now to the halfway line. McPherson into the circle it goes. Desperate defence there from Jamie Walsh. Deflecting it away. Spencer trying to get the better of Gibbs, but Gibbs comes up with the ball. Trent Mitten now combining with Brynda Bez. And Miles Cale. So we're approaching the final 5 minutes now of this third quarter. If we don't have any goals, it'll be the first quarter with no goals in the match. And Jamie Walsh just not getting that one right as McCormick takes it away from Rainey. Rainey penalised again. McCormick didn't play on with it immediately. Feeds it now to McPherson in space. Dylan Deere shuts off that avenue. Butterini, mistrap from him. We'll see possession go back. And a chance. Joel Mitten goes infield to Brynda Bez. Short pass to Swan. They're spreading wide. Dylan Deere now. Lachlan Sampson's on the baseline. He tried to slide that into the circle. Looking forward to Bez, but he's given it away. Welsh gets it back. Rainey will keep it in play, though. Sampson. And this time it goes over the side off Jack Welsh. So it was a promising attack from Wasps, but broke down again. Must be frustrating as the coach when you see good sweeping movement, but then that final pass doesn't just make its mark. Cale Walsh now, who went to Frank W. Cox High School in Virginia, the same as Stephanie Fee, who plays for the United States women's hockey team. That was when his father was coaching in the US. Butterini plays on now. Butterini over the 23-metre line. Butterini going towards the baseline, trying to find a foot, and makes Rainey and Swan collide. Butterini takes it quickly, missed Devon, and now Lachlan Sampson will be surrounded. It was played up off Tate stick into the body of Sampson. Now Miles Cale will be closed down by Devon, has to go back. Bobbly ball back to Dylan Deere. Swan. Collected well by Mitten, but his pass down the line didn't quite go the way he was hoping it would. Mitten, though, giving it back cheaply. And now Robertson to Mitten again. And that's a foot inside. Oh, dear me. That was just inside the circle. The rear foot was on the line, and the other foot was inside. So Fremantle lucky to get away with just the free hit outside the circle, in my opinion. So long corner now. Swan goes back to Cale Walsh, gets the ball back. Defence closing Swan down. In it goes. It goes into the goal, but No touch coming from any Wasps player inside the circle. 3 minutes left in this quarter. And you just feel Wasps need to try and get a goal in this quarter. They've been dominant as Bird takes possession again. Bird through the middle. Richardson always missed it, and there's trouble now, and that's, oh my dear! Tim Bottler with an open goal has put it wide. Well, Fremantle, they said the chances have been few and far between this season. Tim Bottler said, we'll try and make a better job up front. Chance fell to him, and maybe because he's not used to having an open goal, he just pushed it the wrong side of the post. And James Richardson can breathe a sigh of relief. And we've got another card being issued, this time to Butterini. So I'm sure he'll hope that's his last green card here on the Perth Hockey Stadium. This being his last game at this venue before he heads home to New South Wales. And that's gone over the baseline. Appeals again for a penalty corner. Deven not really disguising it or making any attempt to play it over the side. Thrown to the air. Gibbs won't get that one down. So Darryl McCormick now in the corner. High press coming from Wasps. McCormick, you feel, may well just flick it in the air. Does indeed. That looks on straight out. Yep. It's a good pressure from Wasps. Turnover inside the 23. Brandon Gibbs now from the side. Gibbs flicks it out to Jamie Walsh on the left-hand side. Brings it under control. Goes to brother Cale. Matthew Swan. Don't forget, Wasps have got a one-player advantage. Swan waltzing his way towards the circle, stopped by Deven. Swan, great little flick by him. Good defence, though, again by Matt Bird. It's still alive for Wasps. Comes to Mitten, top of the circle. Brilliant tackle. Outstanding tackle from Chad Giles, as Mitten was just about to take the safety catch off and fire. Deflected to Gibbs, but he'll let that one run off Welsh's stick. Oh no, it's claimed he got a touch on that. No complaints from him. Matt Bird over the side, flicks again, looking for the run of Welsh. Well, interesting. Welsh was allowed to bring that ball down. There was no challenge made whatsoever. So I find that quite a strange decision. Duncan Pearce moving away from the player, but it doesn't matter. It is the end of the third quarter. No goals in that quarter, so we're still tied up at 1 apiece. Wesley South Perth 1, Fremantle Cockburn 1. Final words of wisdom from the coach Terry Walsh to his team. Their hopes of being in the finals hinging on the next 15 minutes. They need to find a winner and hope results go their way. Looked as if it might have been the case earlier today when YMCC were leading Vic Park 2-0, but credit to Victoria Park, they came back and drew that game 2-2. Tomorrow there'll be Wolves versus Melville, and that could have a bearing on the top 4, and so too UWA against Whitfords, although you would think that Whitfords will not be able to overcome the might of UWA. But there have been funnier things happen in sport. Final 15 minutes about to get underway. There was plenty of conversation down below us with the Fremantle Cockburn players and the official Lee Nagawela, and he was obviously explaining some of the decisions that he has made during that quarter. And there was, I must state, there was no aggressiveness or any animosity. It was just a nice inquiry of the umpire. So we're waiting. The whistle goes. Jack Welsh gets us underway. Tim Devan flicks it out to Jim McPherson. McPherson looking to go infield to Devan again. Devan almost showed too much, caught the foot of Pearce. Well, you can tell that there may be nothing in this game for Fremantle, but there's certainly something on the line for Wasps, and they know it. Swan steals it. Desperation from Bottler. Swan again. Swan's gone past White. Well, he's lucky to get away with that as Mitten gets the ball. Mitten inside the circle. Was he caught there? Maybe, maybe not by McCormick. And it's still alive as Rainey finds the foot. Penalty corner. And I think they're going to go back for a card, maybe, is it? Well, the umpires, I thought they were going to confirm. No, they're not. So Wasps first, oh, it is in fact, yes, a yellow card. Josh White for that challenge on Swan. It was late and it almost broke up the attack, but the pass had managed to find Trent Mitten. So 5 minutes now, they will be down to 10. Shake of the head down below us as he takes his seat. And this is Wasps' chance as Gibbs goes down to the baseline. Duncan Pearce lines up at the first battery with Matthew Swan stopping for him. Jamie Walsh at the second with Daniel Rainey stopping for him. Will they try a variation or will they go the direct route? They go to Pearce. It's a good trap, good flick, good save as well from Ellis. Rebound came back to Mitten and it was deflected wide. I'm not sure who got the touch. Brilliant deflection to stop that going in. So the long corner pushed to the top of the circle. It's Rainey. Rainey into the circle. Was he taken away? Well, there was a stick check, I'm sure, in there. But anyway, play continues as Tate carries it forward. Tries to find Bottler. Kale Walsh, though, gets ahead of him. And then that's off the foot of Tate. Most of the players stopped believing that there was something going on as Rainey was weaving his way into the circle. And when I say most of the players, it seemed that it was even Fremantle players as well stopped momentarily. Welsh given plenty of space as Mitten comes across now. And Mitten now with the stick check, which is penalised, and that was taken again several metres further forward than the offence. The trouble is, if you allow this self-pass to go ahead and it's constantly from the wrong place, it's hard to penalise it later in the match. Devan did well to get that forward. Walsh through the middle, but Miles Kale, Robertson it was, couldn't get it under control. Not used to seeing Paul Robertson clean shaven for a game. Devan again. Well, this game, you feel, is really on a knife edge. Let's not forget that Wasps have an extra player at the moment. And McCormick's ball is just going to go harmlessly out of play. Swan. Kale. Oh, dear me. Sold Swan down the river there. Bottler, though, trying to weave his way, and he went stick foot. Oh, super pass to pick out Matthew Swan. And unfortunately, Swan just hitting it into the turf and giving Murray McIntyre a really difficult job of getting that under control. And the umpire wanting it over to the side. Badarini pressured by Miles Cale, and Badarini's free hit taken, and he's found McPherson in space. McPherson's pass, though, not going to find Spencer. Spencer working hard in that forward line. McPherson again. Comes back to Tate. Through the middle. Bird with a little touch and managed to deflect it onto Rainey's foot. Floodlights coming on. It has got a little bit murky here. McPherson. Mitten now trying to close down Tate. Only has the option wide, which is McCormick. McCormick, two older players, McIntyre and McCormick. And McCormick goes over Robertson's stick, but is fine. Darren McCormick, who, of course, hails from Darwin originally, won the Olympians medal, which is the fairest and best in the competition back in 2007. He come from Darwin, but is definitely now a Fremantle boy. Well, another free hit given Wasps way down below us. And the umpire just wanting a word with Declan Spencer, the captain of Fremantle. I think he's just saying, calm your players down. Fremantle a man down, defending well at the moment. Wasps not being able to break it down as it comes to Swan, and somehow on the reverse stick he got that under control. Deven, that's gone into Deven's shin pad anyway. Swan plays on quickly, and the pass unfortunately just too far behind Murray McIntyre. McCormick throws it long, watched all the way by Gibbs. If he'd have missed it, Riley Folds was in. Badarini. And well, there's frustration building clearly. Badarini not happy that he was impeded. Abbott, short pass to Riley Folds, and then Badarini runs straight into the back of Abbott. Well, it should have been more Abbott and Costello rather than Abbott and Badarini. Going to take that one moment, you feel, and the ball bouncing over McCormick, but McIntyre couldn't get it under control. Badarini again desperately wanting to finish his playing time on this pitch with a win. Certainly he's been lively in this last quarter, and that's a great pass to Bird. Bird on the reverse stick. Bird scores, and Fremantle have taken the lead, and it was Badarini, who else, to create that opportunity. Brilliant pass to pick out Matthew Bird, and Bird on the reverse stick made no mistake. So he may well have brought the guillotine down on any finals hopes Wasps had with that wonderful finish. What a pass by Badarini. Still a lot to do, to be fair. Matthew Badarini was so close to winning the Olympians medal in 2019. I'm sure he would have loved to have finished off his career in Western Australia by winning the fairest and best in the competition. He may well do, of course, in 2020. We'll have to wait and see as McCormick carries that forward. Harrison Keema takes a tumble. Jamie Walsh penalised. Free hit to Fremantle just at the top of the circle. Badarini takes it quickly, takes it the 5 metres, releases it to McPherson, and eventually Pearce just gets it away. Will be a long corner though to Fremantle Cockburn. Andrew Walker, the 100 man, the centurion, over the ball for Fremantle Cockburn. Good pass, and Pearce got there. Swan takes a tumble. Robertson now. Robertson needed to maybe release that a little bit early. He's now going to be closed out. Oh, great work by him to create space for himself. Lachlan Sampson now. Abbott comes back, tries to stop Sampson passing the ball forward. And so he goes back into the defensive line. Dylan Deere, almost first time sitting Josh White back on. So Fremantle back to their full quota. And Wasps were unable to take advantage of the numerical superiority that they had. Pearce has played on quickly, cracks it towards the circuit. It's going to break, and it's caught Lachlan Sampson's foot. Oh, and that's cut out brilliantly by Paul Robertson. What an eye he must have to pluck that one out of the sky. Long corner. Oh no, it's a free hit just outside the circle. Look at the amount of black shirts back for Fremantle Cockburn. Drilled into the circle, and Mitten somehow kept that in play. Goes on to his reverse stick now, back on the forehand, looks to play it in and gets a penalty corner. Good work, Trent Mitten. So second penalty corner for Wasps. Can they equalise again? If we look over the whole season so far, Wasps have scored 15 penalty corners from 50 goals. Much higher percentage for Fremantle. 13 of their 38 goals have come from penalty corners. So Jamie Walsh and Duncan Pearce, top of the circle. Just wondering what the umpires are conferring about now. So, not quite sure what this conversation was about. Well, it's very hard when you can't actually hear the conversation, and it's very rare that you see one umpire walk to the other end of the pitch, which is what we saw there from Chris Gears. And he was talking to the Fremantle Cockburn players, whether there was something happened before the penalty corner was awarded. Anyway, Pearce at the first battery, Jamie Walsh at the second. The whistle goes, ball injected, goes to Duncan Pearce. Great first running. That was absolutely brilliant by Daryl McCormick. Off his stick, so long corner, 5.5 minutes left. Drilled in, solid save. And came off Brandon Gibbs' stick last, so it is in fact going to be Fremantle's ball. To Declan Spencer in the middle. Lovely pass to Riley Folds. Welsh going through the middle, so too a really good run, and Richardson, it was just overrun that time by Chad Giles. If he just tempered his run going into the circle and waited for the pass, he would have been probably one-on-one with Richardson. So thrown over the top again. McCormack, solid as a rock at the back, brings it down out of the night sky. Cale Walsh anticipating that one well. Goes infield now to Robertson. Deven, though, just caught Robertson napping for a second. Now it's Butterini. Infield, he goes to Welsh, but Swan pounces. Swan accelerates, feeds it to Rainey. Rainey at full stretch, couldn't get there. McIntyre very nearly stole it as they were trying to play out of defence. That looked very much like a backstick from Andrew Walker, but it's not been blown, and now it's Declan Spencer. Plays it too far ahead of Chad Giles. Oh, and it's been missed by Josh White and Cale Walsh. Cale Walsh would have been in around the back. Had he managed to get that under control? High press now coming from Wasps. Just under 4 minutes left. Welsh collects inside his own half. Really good tackle from Jamie Walsh. Walsh, though, is going to be put under pressure himself by McPherson. Managed to keep the ball, played it into the turf. Danger created, so it'll be a free hit just inside their own half for Fremantle Cockburn. And once again, the pace beginning to slow now as Fremantle Cockburn know the clock is ticking down. The clock is the bigger enemy now for Wasps. Really need a victory, but a draw will not really do them any favours. And they're trailing by 1 goal at the moment, so they need to score 2 in the final 3 minutes. It's been done. It's going to be a big ask. Kept in play by Giles. Feeds it to Spencer. Spencer across the D, and Welsh gets a touch, and it will be a 16-2 Wasps. Jamie Walsh, or is it Kale Walsh? Kale Walsh, yep, trying to get on with it quickly. But Fremantle, credit to them, getting back really quickly and getting in position and coming into the space of Matthew Swan. Miles Kale, can he keep it in play? Miles Kale, no he can't, but it's a long corner being given. Wasps rolling the ball back to Duncan Pearce, getting on with it quickly. Pearce self-passes. Welsh, though, intercepts it. And Welsh just plays it forward. Deven, who'd believe those legs were 36 years old, as he really pumps them. Brynn Bez, and he's dispossessed by Welsh. Welsh carries it forward now. Is he going to get a double? Welsh to Deven. Deven deflects it into the circle. McPherson squares, and it's fired home. And that is the match. Kieran Abbott wrapping things up. And Kieran Abbott really coming in at the last minute there to clean that one up for Fremantle. Really good finish by him with just over a minute left. And James McPherson slow to his feet. He was the man who slipped the pass. And hopefully it's nothing urgent. Oh, sorry, nothing really bad for James McPherson. He's one of the most likeable players you could ever come across. Well, Buttarini is going to get that win in his last match on this turf. Andrew Walker is going to celebrate his 100th game with a famous victory over Wasps. Their third it will be in 8 meetings. Buttarini, he's ready for more. Buttarini wants maybe a goal himself. Comes forward, plays it into the circle. Gibbs, good defence, and whistle's gone now, long after the event, for a foot. Just outside the circle. Deven and Bird, good tackle. Pearce, McIntyre. Another free hit to Wasps, but every second taken up works against them. Welsh again, just killing time, but it's still a long way to go. Just under a minute, but that's too long to be trying to hang on to the ball. Gibbs into the circle, deflected, and it'll be a long corner. McIntyre was there, but just couldn't get on the end of that ball. Can Wasps get a consolation before the end? Brynn Bez blocked by Buttarini, appeals for a free hit. The whistle finally goes, and Buttarini with a smile just knocks the ball away. In it goes, and unfortunately that hits Murray McIntyre, and that will be the final play of the match. And there's big cheers from the Fremantle contingent, smiles on the bench down below. But disappointment for the Wasps fans, because that is the end of their season now. No chance of them making the finals. And probably you'd go back to the game against Hale where they pulled it back to 3-3 to concede in the last minute after coughing up possession on halfway with 20 seconds to go. Fantastic performance by Fremantle though here today. They opened the scoring with Jack Welsh in what is probably one of the goals of the season. Matt Bird made it 2-1. Kieran Abbott made it 3-1. Murray McIntyre the sole goal scorer for Wasps. The final score here, Wasps 1, Fremantle Cockburn 3.